All right, now you should have audio. So I had to go with the backup mic. Unfortunately, my normal Rode NT USB took a not working experience. We'll call it. I was going to say something else, but that was not appropriate. And my camera keeps moving on me. So everything now looks good on my end. So hopefully you guys got sound now. So, but we had to go back to the old blue snowball, which is fine. So, all right, let's go ahead and see who we've got in the chat. We've got first was Pam with Punchy Paints. Petsotics is here. Welcome. William Pridemore, Candy, Zen Ginger, Teresa Cookie. Welcome. Let me see Fishroom Fever. Welcome as well. Let me see Caleb's Aquatics, Moonstone KK, Daryl Deemer, Tiffany White, Derek Runyon, Ian Mambula. Welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome to the barn. Let me see Turbofish is here. Welcome, AJ. Moonstone BCFR. Welcome as well. So thank you guys all for coming on by. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get the, hello Greg, how's it going? So let's go ahead here and get the events out of the way. The auction was last weekend, so we now have the Big Fish deal. So Big Fish deal is coming up on March 14th in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Definitely going to be a great time. So really looking forward to that as well. The 8-hour drive should be no big deal. Looks like a pretty straightforward trip. So, also, I didn't put it on here, but I will be on Fishroom Fever's live stream on Saturday night at 8 p.m. So, check that channel out for sure if you've not. Looking forward to being on there as well. It's definitely gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna talk about some managing a large fish room, so that should be a good time for sure. All right, so go ahead now and give you guys a few little updates on some videos and stuff that have been coming out. So I don't know exactly what happened to the auction video. This camera's getting on my nerves. Sorry about that, guys. But the auction video live stream sort of failed miserably, unfortunately. I don't see it for whatever reason. Like I can't see it in my analytics or anything. Oh, okay, Ian. Okay, cool. It was nice to meet you in New Jersey. What are the chances of online bidding evolving? Okay. If you're talking like aquarium club auctions, I would say not. But I mean, there's always Aquabid. If you're talking like me selling out of the barn, I don't know. If so, I guess need a little bit of clarification on that, Moonstone. If you're talking more of me selling like online fish auctions like for like fish clubs, or if you're talking more of a am I going to be selling fish out of the barn sort of thing. So all right. Other things on the channel, we did put out the video I've been kind of playing around with for a while. We did put out the basic plumbing video. So if you guys haven't checked that out and are interested in that, I know it's a pretty dry topic, but check that one out as well. Use some things. I use some plumbing products that a lot of people probably wouldn't, just because I play around with this. I've replumbed this fish room and all of the other fish rooms like 100 times. It seems like, so I always try playing with stuff, and I found the Weldon stuff to be sort of the best that I've found so far. So if you haven't checked that out, check out the plumbing video. Anything else going on? So I am kind of working on a little bit of a fish room tour series as well. Kind of gonna go group by group, sort of. Talk about guppies and live bears and everything else. Specifically big fish deal and auctions in general, not club. Okay. Big fish deal will not be online. So I think you have to be in attendance to do that. But I can see where, like, an event like that, you could do, like, an online auction. I know they do, like, an online coral sale in the saltwater world. I've never attended one, but I know that they do, like, an online flash sale. I know places like Cherry Corals, etc. will do that. I've actually never attended it because that was, like, after the time I was really into corals, but that's that's kind of what it was. So I think what we're going to do now is we'll go ahead and since we did the channel updates and everything, let's talk about we'll go ahead and take the camera off and we'll go ahead and take a look at the auction stuff. Definitely some changes came afoot because of that. Fish moved around and stuff, so we'll go ahead and I'll show you what I picked up and show you some things I actually said goodbye to as well. Didn't really talk much about it beforehand, but there were some fish I wanted to move out. I'd bred them, I'd gotten the bat points, and I was kind of just ready to do something new with the tank space. So let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and get that all set up here in just a second, and we'll go ahead and go for that. Alright guys, looks like we've got everything ready to go now. So looks like I've got audio on my screen, so let's go ahead and take a walk around. And the first fish is actually going to be over here. So the first fish that we picked up, and the tank's a little bit dirty so it'll be hard to see it, but this is the Gerardnichthus multiradiatus. It's a Gadiid species, and we're probably not going to be able to get it with the tank where it's at. So it's a really cool water Gadiid. Basically, what it does is it's keep the temperature below 70. I'll probably be moving that fish somewhere differently, and probably actually setting it up on its own water change system for the summer, just so I can keep the water temperature cooler. Let me see what else here. Some fish have moved out of that rack. So one of my goals for the auction actually was to kind of increase my stocks on some of the fish. Not actually get a whole lot of new fish. That was one of the goals I had. And so I'm getting more of these Guessy. And of course, since I put them into the tanks, they've not really come out. But, those are the Bumblebee Gadiads. They're in here. I did move the shellers that were in here. And I did put in some Atnobus Toweri, which are the blue-tailed Gadiads. And these guys have not come out as well. So let's go ahead here and kind of show you some of the stuff I did put in. I did put in some of these guys, these guppies. So these are some half-black AOC, which stands for any other color. There are some females I have to get out of here. So they're throwing some females that are just plain. And the female should be like this big one right here with the black, the half black. So I need to get in here this weekend and pull out some of these plainer looking females and put them in the mutt guppy tank. So let's go ahead and head on upstairs. All right, so the first tank we come to here is I actually got something in here now. These are the Montezuma swordtails. Move those from the tank downstairs and something a little bigger. Want to give those guys some room to grow for sure. I will show you this. We're going to talk about this in a future video, but this is another African cichlid species that I was able to pull eggs from. So just want to give you a heads up on that. And then sorry for the cords. This is something that I need to manage still. But we did add a new species here. And sorry for the gas. But these are the Xiphophorus clemensae. They have the location of 9 kilometers from Sierra Riba, which is in Oaxaca, Mexico. There's the male right there. So cool looking fish. We did move Asia fry over here into this 10-gallon. So there's a tiny little ACI fry there. And then we did say goodbye to the zebra obliquidans. So shades are in here now. So we do have the Neolamprologus brevis sunspot in here. And then that was really about it. We did move the tequila kids down here. And then that was really kind of about it. Everything else is kind of status quo. So like I said, the auction is more about increasing stocks of stuff. So it wasn't really like we didn't get a whole lot of new fish. But we did sell a few things. So it all worked out pretty well. So let me go ahead and bend back upstairs. And just for anyone who's new to the channel, I not chat when I have the camera off. I've been working on a way to see if I can get that to work, and have not figured it out yet. Oh, one thing I do want to talk about is the 245 gallon. So I kind of have made a decision on this tank. I am going to change this out to a freshwater tank. Right now I don't want to mess with it really. The saltwater tank. Maybe someday it'll turn back into one. Don't know yet. I do want to do something else saltwater. Maybe another breeding project upstairs. Not sure yet exactly what I want to do. I do have some open salt tanks upstairs as well. So, but kind of think about what kind of fish I want to put in this 45 gallon. So if you guys have any ideas Definitely shoot them and throw them in the chat or throw them in the comment section because I'm definitely looking for some ideas. And since we're over here, kind of want to show you these guys as well because I've not shown them in a while. But these are the Geophagus. These are the Altifrons and the Heckle in here. So that's one of the Altifrons, and the little Heckle is right in front of it. And then we also have some Rio Severums in here as well. Those are wild caught. So just want to give you guys a little bit of a look at those. And then we've got the single Lamprologus ornata pinus as well. So gotta give you guys a little bit of a look. And then right now I actually have these two open 20 gallons, so I might put some more guppies in here. I'll do something else with it, not sure yet, but that's to come as well. All right, let's go ahead and put you guys back on the Gadiads. All right, so we've got like Bob's here. So, hey Bob, how's it going? Really enjoyed your stream last night. Hello, Fishy Fun 57 and Scott's Aquatics. Sorry about the wrong screen there. Some rainbow fish. I don't know what I want to do with that tank cat. That could be rainbow fish as a possibility. I've thought about larger fish than that as well. So not really sure. But that's definitely something that I've been kind of noodling over for sure. So, hey Bob, how's it going? Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. Scott, yeah, sometimes I break up when I go upstairs, and I've not. There's two things with that I kind of need to figure out. One is to see if I can read the chat, and two is to see if. Hello, Heavenbound Farm, welcome. And two is to see if, how to get the audio to not break up when I'm in certain sections of the barn itself. So I'll have to see if I can figure something out. Hello, Cichlids 23. All right, so hello JH, how's it going? So let's talk a few minutes here now on the actual, the second part of the topic, and I keep messing with my camera, so I have to fix that too. So let's talk about how to keep fish keepers fish keeping. Kind of John talked a lot about this, and it's kind of taken this mantra on. It kind of hit home when he was talking about it last Thursday. Definitely. Oh, is it hard to hear now, Bob? Oh, wait. I think you're behind me. Because I had it in the other mic. So I think you should be okay. But basically keeping the fish keepers fish keeping. I kind of had some thoughts about that. As after listening to John. To kind of give you a little bit of my history for those who may not know. I really thought about this issue. Came up today in a fish club board meeting I was at. And I'd been the treasurer of the Saltwater Club for something like 13 years or something. Oh, has everyone got okay with audio? Yeah, I had to go get the JV mic out, unfortunately, but it should be still should be good. I tested it the other day with video, like a voiceover, so I think it should be all right. So anyway, I was kind of thinking about this today. What kind of has kept me like in the hobby for since 2007 seriously, and then when I was a kid, etc., kind of off and on. And I kind of thought about a couple different things, and I think one of them really is the community. Even when I was doing saltwater, I started getting involved in the fish club, the saltwater club at the time. And then when I ran into problems, like for example, back in say, I think it was like 2007 or 2008. I had a CO2 canister, basically like completely empty itself into my 180 gallon reef tank and basically nuked everything. But by the time you went back and you tested the water, like all of the all the parameters were fine because it was a sudden drop in pH from the CO2 going in, and then as it gassed off, it went all the way back up by the time I woke up in the morning and found all the fish belly up. So it's one of those things where it was sort of, where like I wouldn't have been able to figure this out. I'm like, what in the world's going on? The parameters are fine, everything's fine. I talked to the guy who was the president of the fish club at the time. He's like, hey, check your CO2 tank. So go over to the CO2 tank, pick it up, and it's completely empty. He's like, yeah, your regulator failed on your calcium reactor, and it blew a bunch of CO2 through your system and nuked all your fish. So stuff like that where, you can lean on people in the community to kind of pick you up a little bit. And so I think one of the more important things is actually finding a community within either it's YouTube or it's the fish club or it's a group of buddies or whoever it may be. But I think you need to have that community aspect to be successful. Occasionally, like I'll meet someone who's like just, a random fish keeper. Like he's like, yeah, I go to the fish store, I buy my fish, put them in the tank, look at them, and that's kind of it. And I don't think those are the people who really don't stay in the hobby very long. I think, stuff happens, they don't have anyone to go to, or they go to the fish store, they get bad advice, they go wherever, and that's kind of how they drop off. So, that was something I really had a really big thought to, in terms of keeping people in the hobby, keeping them fish keeping them going. Kind of one of the other things I sort of thought about too is we're kind of going through this. It's kind of like buying the right equipment and learning what the right equipment is. And my history is a little different than a lot of people probably because I started in sort of in saltwater seriously and then sort of went away from it. But I went kind of to freshwater in the end. So. But actually, just kind of like learning what the good equipment is. Learning what are the good canister filters if you're into that. Learning what the good hang-on backs. Learning what the good pumps are. Learning how to use just kind of learning the equipment, and kind of going along with that, not being afraid to fail as well. I mean, a lot of really good fish keepers have killed a lot of fish, so it's something you definitely need to keep in mind is to kind of keep a positive attitude towards it and just understand that losing fish is part of the game or part of the process. You don't want to kill fish purposely, but it is going to happen. It's just something it's going to happen. You're going to lose fish. You're going to make stupid mistakes. It all happens. I did it Sunday. When I was moving fish, I literally, this was probably one of the more bonehead things I've ever done. As I keep moving the tail, I keep moving my camera. Sorry. Is literally the Antinobis tower eye that are sitting over in the 90 gallon. I moved them from a 20 because I want to get all my Gadiads in a larger tank, and I netted one of them out. And these are pretty rare fish; they're hard to come by. Netted one of them out. I pulled the net out. He was gone. I'm like, "Where's the fish?" I thought he'd jump back in the tank, and I net the other two fish out. Kind of go about it, kind of look for them. And then I'm like, you know what? I bet you he jumped on the floor. And sure enough, found him sitting there dead on the floor. So these things are going to happen. And I think you just need to understand, and I guess understand and kind of keep it, keep in your own mind that you're kind of like, hey, we're going to go ahead and do this. And it's going to happen. You're going to lose fish. You're going to lose expensive fish. You're going to lose your favorite fish. It's just going to happen. And I think there's I don't know if I want to call it a mental toughness or something to understand. Like listen, kind of accept it and go ahead and get through it. So, do you guys? I'm gonna go ahead here and ask you guys too. Do you guys have any thoughts on that as well, and how to basically we'll crowdsource this a little bit on how to keep fish keepers fish keeping? I mean, I know that the network, the support system, knowing the equipment, not being afraid to fail, and I think. Too, as well, going along with that is you need to be a constant learner. If the day you stop learning is kind of the day you should leave. I mean, I've learned a ton just going, when I made the switch from sort of saltwater to freshwater, at the time, is something that was kind of, I guess it was sort of temporary, and then I started getting into it, and I kind of started liking the freshwater side more and more. You know, they're different fish. It's a different hobby in some ways, and very similar in some others, which is probably another good live stream topic at some point. I did it once before. I probably could have covered it a bit better, but that's kind of in the beginning of my, call it, streaming career. So let me go ahead here and I'll check the chat real quick. Moonstone KK. Oh lordy, I'm scared of CO2 still, hoping lights are enough for plants. Moonstone, if you buy the right plants, I do not run CO2 in any tanks in here. And I grow Vallisneria like it's going out of style. So it's definitely one of those things that you can very much, you can do a lot of different plants without CO2, in my experience. So I would not jump on the CO2 bandwagon right away unless that's something you want to go to. I mean, if you wanted to go to the high-end, high-tech planted tank and that's where your interest is, then definitely for sure go ahead. Start researching CO2 regulators, etc. So, all right. So, or cyclist 23 one could yeah, that's true too. All right, so Moonstone KK, baseball mentality, we win or we learn. There's no L word. Hashtag go OSU Beavers, shameless plug. Okay. That's the correct OSU. There's another OSU out there that is, we'll call it the school down south in the state of Ohio that we won't mention. That is the rival of the school where I went to college. So we won't talk about that. But OSU Beavers are fine. Peplin Creek Aquatics got my buddy hooked on fish. Now he's building a fish room. That's funny. And I'll tell you guys a little bit of a story. Kind of how I started building fish rooms was I went to, what do you want to call it? I went to a buddy of mine's house. She was at his house tonight for the Fish Club board meeting. And he had this clownfish breeding setup. And I remember walking in, and I'm like, there's no bleeping way that I'm going to go ahead and set up something like that. And now his fish room actually is really non-functioning at this point. But now I have 100 tanks sitting here in the fish barn. So, So, you never know. I hate having to euthanize a fish sick 3 inches and over. I call my neighbor. I can't kill it even if it's suffering. I need to get clove oil from Fish Fun 57. Yes, that's not a fun thing either. So that's another part of the thing too. Is you've got to. That's part of the mental aspects of fish keeping. Is that you've got to be prepared for that. And it's sort of I won't call it the dark side, but it's one of the sort of the sides of the hobby where it definitely kind of you got to get mentally prepared for. Yeah, you can find you can find that anywhere. So let me see. Any other things that have kept me in the hobby? And I think too, I think everyone needs to understand, or actually keeping it simple was the other thing I thought of. I knew I was missing something, and it was keeping it simple. And I'm sorry to adjust the camera again. Is don't make it hard on yourself. I think and I'll probably talk some more about this when I talk with James on Saturday. But it's generally do not make it hard on yourself to do chores in your fish room, like buy a python, do auto water change, do those things to make it. If you make it a chore for yourself, and you make it hard on yourself, then you won't do it. If you make it easy on yourself, then you can spend more time enjoying your fish room and time enjoying your barn or enjoying whatever fish tanks you have, and it's better for you. Nope, that scared this. So thank you very much, Bob, for the 199 super chat. Apparently, I had some sort of alert on because that definitely kind of scared me for a second. Thank you, Better Time Stories, for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. I lurked in quite a few streams just because I start getting busy doing stuff in the fish room, and I have a bad habit of saying hi to everyone and then bolting off to go do something. So definitely thanks a lot for stopping by. So, and Candy's got Dr. Black's live in 15 minutes for sure. Alright, so Fishy Fun needs to order online. We only have 9,000 population and shopping sucks. I bury my fish in my garden. A lot of times with mine, if anything that passes away here, a lot of times it will end up outside in the flower bed. That's kind of not really a flower bed, but it's more of a, I don't know what it is, but they end up out there. I guess in the wintertime it'll feed something. And so that's very good. So hello, Amber. How's it going? And then, thank you, Moonstone KK, for the $10 super chat. Very much appreciated. Hello, Danikin Aquatics. How's it going? And I gotta turn that sound off. It's gonna drive me insane. So, Better Time Stories. I was blown away by your barn tour last time. So I'll be dropping by your channel and streams more often. Thank you. Thank you there. What was I going to say? Better Time Stories. Sorry, I got distracted by the noise. So let's go ahead and I'm going to mute this little mini feed. All right. So you guys can still hear me now. Yeah. So it's one of those things where you just have to accept, losses, etc. Kind of going back to kind of keeping people fish keeping and keep it easy on yourself. I mean, carrying around 5-gallon buckets is awful. So it's so I mean, get the Python hose, get things like that. I'll go show you an example here in just a second. We're gonna go take a walk upstairs, and if the audio breaks up, I apologize. But I'm gonna show you one stupid, simple thing I did to make my life easier. All right, so we got the. Just so you guys know, these are the Capalichthys and Caustis Gadaeds. These guys have dropped quite a few fry since I've moved them into this 120. So something I'm pretty happy about for sure. I kind of enjoy these guys. They look like little sharks. I know I'm kind of going off topic here, but kind of a fun little fish. All right, so Better Time Stories is be sure to buy the 50-foot. Yeah, that's true as well. So thank you, Bob. I was just walking away from the chat for linking up the merch. All right, let's go ahead here and take a... I'll show you kind of one, and it's really kind of dumb and easy to kind of dumb and easy. But it's it has actually made my life a lot easier because there's no real drain. I don't have a drain sink in here. So I used to have to carry buckets from up here and carry them all the way down outside and dump them outside. So I attached this to my auto water change drain system. So all of what this is basically like a 2-inch pipe a 1-inch pipe that goes into a 2-inch pipe, and that goes into this 4-inch connector, and so I can just dump water into this little 4-inch hole, and then it'll just drain down and go out. So, I mean, something like that. I mean, just to make your life a lot easier. You know, the easier you can make your life here, in your fish room, the more likely you are to keep fish keeping, and the more likely you are to with it. Stuff like that, even. It's dumb and simple, but it makes it's safe for $5 down the stairs. So. All right. All right, back on me now. Let's go ahead and check the chat out real quick and make sure. Bob said, Steam Fight Aquatics said those are cool. Yep, those are like my favorite fish. They sit literally right here from my desk, and literally I always will be working on something and I'll kind of pop over and watch them. So, those are definitely some of my favorites for sure. Candy asking Candy about a break. Yes, Candy's the hardest working mod, along with all my other mods, who I thank dearly for what they do. So Bob said, "Nice, Mike." So Moonstone KK. So I need a plumber. Um, so Moonstone, and I actually did a plumbing video on Sunday. Actually, you commented on it, but yeah, check out that video. I mean, that video will show you what a lot of the plumbing pieces are, and then how I actually glue them together and how to put them together and everything. So I am kind of noodling on a follow-up video to that. I'm actually like making some of how to make a manifold, or how to make how to hook up your sump, your sump filter and everything else. So that's something I'm definitely noodling on for sure. So Fish Fun 57. I find fish keeping keeps me sane since chronic pain affects my back. I fill a garden hose and use a python to drain it out my window. My neighbor showed me this trick so I can have more tanks. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Make it like I was saying earlier. Make it easy on yourself. I mean, it's a good, and fish keeping is a good way to really resolve anxiety and stuff like that. I mean, there's subjects or studies, excuse me, that have those that have studied anxiety and why fish tanks are in doctors' offices to keep people's blood pressure down, keep them you know low key, etc. Instead of hyped up. So Fish Room Fever with the $2 super chat for the Big Fish Deal Ice Cream Fund. For those of you who don't know, I usually will super chat John from KG Tropicals as kind of a joke, and you will kind of be like, hey, because there's a group of us that go out for ice cream every time we go to a fish show. So that's where that comes from. For those of you who don't know. Purple primer is fun. Yes. Purple primer is really bad when you get it. Like, I deal with people all day at work, and I probably have talked with suppliers with purple hands, like purple all through here and everything. So, bedtime stories. It was minus 24°C, minus 12 Fahrenheit yesterday. No dumping water out the window for me. Yeah, so you definitely have to take that in mind as well. I mean, one of the things here right now, I think it was in the upper 30s today, but it is still quite snowy out. So the winter time, the fish barn does get a little icy getting out there. I don't want to take you guys outside and show you like, oh hey, there's snow out here, but it's one of those things. So, how do you control the temp with the Python? Uh, Basically, what you would do is it's kind of a learning thing, but as you turn, um, basically, I would say take your hose and kind of put it into a bucket. Like take the end of your Python when you're ready to refill the tank. Put it in, stick it maybe like over a bucket and just put your hand in it and kind of adjust the temperature that way. Or I kind of just got to know like sort of what the temperature was by feel. I know how far to turn the faucet, but that's what I would do. Is I would just basically um, take like a 5-gallon bucket, stick your hand there, and stick your hand under it as it's coming out, and kind of feel the temperature, and adjust, and maybe like go turn it off, and adjust it that way. Um, so Bob Kaler asks, is the barn insulated well? Yes, barn is definitely insulated. There is I think it's like R7.5 in the roof. There is R19 along the walls, and then um, and I think that's about it. So yeah, the barn is definitely well insulated. The door is insulated as well. That's probably the biggest spot where I still lose some heat from. Last winter it did get down to -10 one night out here, and temperature in here was fine. So definitely, um, so it is definitely well insulated out here. So the barn does do pretty well in the winter. So I was kind of happy for that. Last winter was the first winter, so it definitely did work. So let me see. Thermometer test and coordinate with knobs. Yep, that's correct. The Moonstone. Bedtime stories. That's one of the reasons I did a beautiful little aquascape with guppies for my dad for Christmas. He's a tough cookie. He's been battling one kind of cancer for another for 14 years, and he's loving the tank. So best wishes to your dad. Bedtime stories. Definitely hope he gets better from that. Speaking of that, if some of the mods can link the GoFundMes that are out there for Candy, for Pam, for the Ohio Fish Rescue. So definitely, our thoughts go out to all those folks. Definitely, Ohio Fish Rescue going through that. That definitely cannot be easy for sure. Obviously, definitely, keep all those folks in your thoughts. Fishy fun at bedtime. I'm in a 1995 manufactured home. Water froze at 3 a.m. It just came back out an hour ago. Had to use tank water to flush the loo. So fish are getting an extra water change. Bedtime stories. I am in Metro Detroit. So we're in Metro Detroit, Michigan, in the northern suburbs. So definitely does get cold here. Does not get as cold as New Brunswick, but definitely you can get some cold temperatures here for sure. Thankfully, this has been a mild winter here, so I think we've not had a negative, a minus Fahrenheit degree day. So knock on wood that will last here for the next month and a half or so, and then we'll kind of be out of the woods and then into springtime, which is kind of one of my more favorite times of the year. It's pretty fun here to work on the barn, etc. So Dr. Black's in the house, so he will be going next here in about 15 minutes. So we got about 15 minutes to go, so we will hit the Facebook posts of the week. So let me go ahead and hit those now. Alright, so, and this looks like crap, so hold on. So what this is apparently somebody, so, let me see, at least this didn't come in through very well. Hit the screen. That's weird. Alright, I don't know why this doesn't show up very well, But what somebody did is they actually took an old embalming machine and they turned it into a fish tank, which I thought was kind of an interesting sort of idea here, that they took something like that and turned it into a tank. So definitely kind of an interesting little thing. All right, so the next one. Let me close down these a little bit. Oh, whoa. All right, so my friend and I were roughhousing, and he pushed me into the tank I've been working on for 2 months, and flooded my basement at 3 in the morning. FML looking for. God, what happened to this? I don't know why this is showing up so bad. So, hello, everything fish. So basically, he's looking for a new tank. Yeah, that was a little. I was tempted on Pam about that one. It was kind of like on the fence. I was like, yeah, I'll put it up there for a creativity stake. But this one, I mean, you gotta keep your fish. You gotta keep your fish in mind. You know, you don't go messing around with your buddies and go, you know, someone could have got hurt pretty badly. You know, just kind of going through that. So, you know, you got to kind of keep that in mind. You know, safety in mind as well. So, ghost shrimp. So I guess we'll do the shameless plug too. So I guess if you've hung out here for the last 47 minutes or so, and you've not hit the subscribe button, definitely hit that subscription button. Ding all the proper notification bells, the like buttons, and all those other fun items. So, all right, let's go ahead and we'll hit the last post here. This one's interesting, and okay, I have to get this off my chest. I think it's weird that people name fish. Am I the only one that thinks this? Names are for pets that come to said name. Am I wrong here? I personally don't name any of my fish, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. In my opinion, I think it's an individual choice. I don't find it strange personally. I just think it's for me, it's just I don't know, I don't have a fish that I keep in the fish room that really evokes a name. Thank you for coming by everything fish, but you know, I don't have like the huge like Murphy, you know, Mabu puffer in here. So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, I'm not going to name each one of the 8,000, you know, not 8,000, but of the like 20 Gadiads that are sitting in the tank next to me. You know, one, I couldn't tell you which one's which. And, you know, so. Moonstone, I like your comment. Some of mine have names, not all. They have to earn it. Yeah, that's fair. So what do you guys think about naming fish? So this is one that definitely comes with an interesting question. So hashtag Murphy. Speaking of Murphy and the Aquarium Co-op, by the way, if you guys are content creators, check out Corey's Unique Viewers channel. The video he put out last week was definitely something. How do I want to put that? That was definitely kind of. I wouldn't say like life changing. That's not the right word for it. Definitely something that I've been playing with ever since. I was doing thumbnails and stuff on my phone, and there's a program that he talked about on there. It was called PhotoJet, and it's a free photo editing program. You can make thumbnails and make YouTube channel art, stuff like that. So definitely something to check out. So Kaler's Aquatics, I named some of my interactive fish. So Fishy Fun 57 says he names the ones that pass. And then Teresa Cookie names some that are they're like, I'm sorry. Names some fish that are something, not something like a school attachment. Yeah, that's kind of where I was at. For iBox, lets his kids choose the name. Yeah, but even my kids didn't really name like the goldfish they had that I still have one of them in the pond over here. Um, but yeah, so hey Chewy, how's it going? I just named I think that's supposed to mean Betta Derek. My son named the Glow Light Tetras Halloweenies. Got them in October. Then we decorated the tank with window clings and the neons in there with the super emies. Okay. Cool. I have a cool idea. So somebody Moonstone copycatted Michael's fisherman named the flower horn Chewy. So Fishy Fun 57 named his Carpo knife fish Carpo Marks. Interesting. I don't know what I would name a fish, honestly. Like I don't. I've not even like when I had big angelfish and stuff. I never really named them. I don't know. It's not. It's like a personal thing, and it's not like I don't like hate on anyone who does. It's just one of those things where it's just for me. It just doesn't evoke that sort of like I need to name it. Sharpie's named his female that murdered her mate Pam. I was rather proud. That's funny, Pam. That's good. So, yeah, I don't really. I think the only fish I can name in here were maybe like the discus or maybe like the two severums, maybe, and that's kind of it. All the rest of and maybe the clownfish upstairs, I guess, but. Ecto the Scudeni puffer and Debo the pea puffer. That's kind of a cool name, Ecto. It's kind of Ghostbusters, I think, right? I don't know. I like maybe get two fish, call one MC Hammer, call the other one Vanilla Ice. Call them Runt Nickelback. I don't know, maybe. So we got about 7 minutes left. Hello, Dylan Martin. So Zen Ginger names the distinguishable ones, not the Neon Tetras, Guppy Fry, and whatnot. Yeah. If I got if I had like a big personal fish, maybe I'd name it. But it'd have to come to me though. Like I couldn't just be like, oh, I have a peacock bass, and now I'm gonna name it, Rapala or something, So Carpo Marks is 13 inches. So what suggestions do you guys have for the 245? So the kind of give you an idea of the dimensions. It's 6 feet long. It's 30 inches deep, and I think it's like 28 tall or something like that. So any ideas of what you guys think we should put in there? I've been noodling around a couple ideas. Definitely want to do some more research. Yeah, maybe I do need a big personable fish. That's probably the one thing I really don't have in here. Yep, in the 245. Kind of, I'm not gonna really say yet what I've been kind of thinking, but I want to see. Stingrays, I think that tank's too small. It's actually kind of a weird. Now that I really think about it, like it's a weird size. Like it's almost too big for some fish, and then it's too small for others. Like it's kind of this weird thing. So Danikin Aquatics is lurking while bowling. I am the absolute worst bowler on earth. If you guys want to make fun of me, I actually did get beaten bowling one time by a 90-year-old woman, so I deserve to be made fun of. I'm an awful bowler. Triggers and puffers. Yeah, I'm a BCFR. I don't know if you missed it, but I'm actually gonna, at least for I'm gonna probably turn that one freshwater, and then I might do another tank saltwater. I have a kind of noodling another breeding project to kind of go along with the tanks upstairs. So I'm a terrible bowler. I can play some mean golf at times, but bowling's not my thing. And I used to play kind of a mean goalie in soccer too, but I'm a little too old to do that now. But I think that's why my back hurts half the time. Is I spent spent like 17 years diving on the ground. So no, she was okay for 90 years old. She was pretty darn good. No, I'm still gonna have saltwater BCFR, just not in that tank. Like for some reason, it's me or something. But that tank is almost. I'm not gonna say cursed because that's not scientifically factual. But like for some reason, I've never gotten saltwater to work how I wanted it in that tank. I don't know if it's the footprint or if it's the way I've set flow up or does something happen. Like I don't know what it is. Like something I've done something like bizarre, and somehow that tank and me keeping salt water in it don't work. Like it is a really weird thing to say. So Dylan Martin, haven't tried saltwater, but might do a nano reef one day. Dylan, I would advise you to not do a nano reef, and here's why. They sell a lot of the nano tanks, but I honestly, if you were gonna do a reef, I would do it in something like a 75 or a 90. And here's why I'm gonna tell you that. Some of the parameters and stuff say like salinity. In a smaller vessel, so say if you take your 29-gallon BioCube, and it literally, if you don't have as much room for air. So say if you mess up the salinity on a 29-gallon BioCube, you have a lot less margin for error to get that right than you would on a larger, say like a 90-gallon. So just like Bob Kaler said, go bigger with saltwater. Yeah, like if I were going to recommend someone to do a reef tank, I would either say do like a 90-gallon or do a 6-foot 125 if you want to do something like if you want to keep some tangs, just because the tangs need the swimming space. So it's a metal frame one, but not one of the brands I've been able to identify. Dad says it wasn't slate bottom when he got it, but the glass bottom might have been a modification by the original owner. My mom had tons of metal frames in the 60s and 70s. I thought the new style. Yeah, there was one at the auction this time too. I'm not really into those, but maybe that's probably it's a personal taste sort of thing. And kind of like I said last week on the stream, this is kind of a working fish room, so that's more of a collector's piece, and so that's something that needs to be sort of displayed in a display sort of fish room, kind of something maybe like what John's building over at KG Tropical, something like that. So, all right, so we are getting to the to 9:59, so we have been on for 59 minutes now. So we're gonna go ahead here and I'll thank our super chatters. So we have super chatters. We have Fishroom Fever. We've got Bob Kaler, Moonstone KK, and I think that is it. So I think I got all the super chatters. So thank you very much for the super chats. Always appreciated, never required. And so with that being said, my time is just about up here. So go ahead and hit Dr. Black, and he'll be on next. And then just so you guys know, Tuesday night usually is going to be Susan from SLC Aquatics at 7 Eastern Time. Chris from Multi Tank Addiction is going to be at 8. I'm at 9. And then Dr. Black is at 10. And then I believe Alien World is at some time that I am not awake. So thank you very much, guys, for the stream. Thank you for coming. Videos will always drop on Sunday. So with that being said, stay fishy, keep on breeding. We'll catch you guys on the next one.